Jerry Lane, a former UN employee, wakes up with his wife Karen and their two daughters, Rachel and Constance. For a family breakfast, Jerry informs Constance, the youngest daughter, that he has resigned from his job in order to spend more time with the family. On the news, there is talk of civil unrest and martial law. Later, they are stuck in heavy traffic in Philadelphia. When the city is attacked by a horde of zombies, these attackers move very quickly, biting people and turning the bitten very quickly. During the panic stampede, Jerry notices that it takes approximately 12 seconds for a bitten person to change. As the chaos increases, the Lanes escape the city in a stolen RV. They stop near Newark, New Jersey at a large food store, where Karen stocks whatever food she can find, and Jerry is able to find medication for his eldest daughter, Rachel, who is suffering from a violent asthma attack. Looters attack his wife, Jerry shoots one of them, and Karen is released. For a brief moment, it appears that a police officer is about to arrest Jerry, but the officer is simply looking for supplies. Outside the store, the family seeks refuge in a Newark apartment complex. Deputy Secretary General Thierry Umitoni, an old friend of Jerry's, calls and informs the family that a helicopter is on its way to rescue them, but it will not arrive until the next morning. The Lanes have taken up residence in a small apartment with a Latino family. One of the kids, Tomas, speaks English and translates for the Lanes. Jerry, convinced that the best way to survive is to keep moving, is unable to persuade Tomas's family to accompany them. The Lanes creep through the mostly abandoned tenement the next morning, trying to find the roof, but the undead detect them and chase them to the roof. When several zombies attack Jerry, they spit blood on him. Jerry walks up to the edge of the roof, ready to jump if the blood on his face causes him to turn. He doesn't, and the family boards the chopper and flees after repelling another horde of the undead. The helicopter transports the Lanes and a large group of other refugees to a U.S. Navy aircraft carrier off the coast of New York City. A team of scientists and military personnel are on board, analyzing the scope of the global outbreak. Thierry is waiting for them and has set up bunk beds for them. Dr. Andrew Fassbach, a virologist, contends that the plague is a virus that must be identified in order for a vaccine to be developed. Jerry is tasked with assisting Fassbach in locating the source of the outbreak due to his experience as a former UN investigator. Jerry reluctantly agrees to assist after receiving assurances that his family will be safe and is sent to Camp Humphreys, a military base in South Korea, where an email was received about 11 days prior, stating that the outbreak may have begun there. Jerry's team is attacked by zombies shortly after arriving at the base. Fassbach, terrified and cowardly, is killed after accidentally shooting himself after slipping on the plane's ramp. The gunshot wakes up the zombies in the area, forcing Jerry and his crew to flee. Jerry discovers that the zombies are drawn to noise after being rescued by the base's surviving personnel. The soldiers at the base, led by Captain Speak, explain that a Korean soldier was conducting research in the field when he was attacked and turned. His conversion took much longer than what had previously been witnessed. The infected man's corpse attacked the base doctor, and both were burned. Jerry meets with Hafner, an ex-CIA agent who was arrested for selling arms to North Korea. He tells Jerry a chilling story about how the North Korean government was able to contain the outbreak in their country by pulling the teeth of every citizen within a 24-hour period, preventing infecting each other through bites. Hafner instructs Jerry to travel to Jerusalem, where the Israeli Mossad had established a safe zone just before the outbreak was officially recognized, implying that Israel may have had foreknowledge of what was to come. Speak's men ride in a fleet of bicycles to avoid making any noise while refueling the C-130 and boarding Jerry. When Karen tries to call Jerry and the undead attack, Jerry and the C-130 pilot escape after the plane is successfully refueled. Jerry meets Mossad leader Jurgen Warmbrunn in Jerusalem, who explains that the Mossad intercepted communications from an army general in India months earlier, claiming that Indian troops were fighting the Rakshasa, or dead spirits. Warmbrunn also explains how the center of Jerusalem was walled in. The wall is formidable, at least 50 feet high, and refugees, including non-Jews and Muslims, are being brought into the quarantine zone. While Jerry is speaking with Jurgen, a group of Muslim refugees begin to sing joyfully about having found a safe haven to live in. One of the women locates a microphone and the singing becomes more audible. Attracted by the singing, the zombies outside begin to scale the protective wall, forming a massive pile that eventually makes its way into the city. While fleeing, Jerry notices that the zombies ignore an elderly man and an emaciated boy. A young Israeli woman soldier is bitten by a zombie. Jerry quickly amputates her hand to stop the infection from spreading, counting to 12 until he is certain she will not turn. When Jerry contacts Thierry, He requests the location of the nearest WHO or CDC-type lab, and they are directed to a WHO research facility in Cardiff, Wales. A stowaway zombie is released from the cargo hold and attacks a flight attendant. While the plane is in the air, she attacks the other passengers. Jerry detonates a grenade to kill the zombies, and the plane crashes near Cardiff. Sejan and Jerry continue as the only visible survivors of the crash, though Jerry has been impaled by a piece of metal. Sejan locates him, and the two walk to Cardiff to the WHO facility. Due to his lack of communication, the US Navy assumes he is dead and deports his family to Nova Scotia. Jerry passes out at the facility's entrance and awakens 3 days later strapped to a gurney, his wound treated and bandaged. He is able to persuade the facility's staff that he is there on a specific mission. The men watching him dial his wife's satellite phone. When Thierry answers the phone, he informs Jerry that his family has been designated as non-essential personnel and has been relocated to a land-based facility. Jerry is upset, but Thierry is able to prove Jerry's identity to the skeptical WHO personnel. Jerry reveals to the skeptical scientists that because the old man and the sickly boy in Jerusalem were ignored, along with a homeless wino Jerry briefly witnessed in Newark, who was bypassed by the zombies, and the story the soldier with a limp talked about the zombies ignoring him, the infected do not bite seriously injured or terminally ill people, because they would be unsuitable as hosts for viral reproduction. He offers to inject himself with a fatal but curable pathogen to test his theory. However, after a doctor accidentally infected himself, the wing of the building where the pathogens are stored was overrun by zombies. Jerry fills a small box with pathogen vials from 2 different cabinets. The scientists are filming him and remark that the left cabinet contains lethal and incurable diseases. Jerry is about to leave when he notices one of the undead doctors outside. He decides to inject himself to see if his theory will work when he is cornered and without a suitable weapon, and selects a vial at random from the box. Jerry waits a few moments before opening the vault door. The former doctor ignores him. Jerry is able to walk out, past the horde of zombies that has infested the facility. When he returns to the safe area of the facility, everyone rejoices at the success of his theory, and the doctors cure him of the pathogen. Jerry returns to his family in Freeport, Nova Scotia in a safe zone. A vaccine derived from lethal pathogens is developed to serve as camouflage for troops fighting the infected. Airdrops are used to spread the pathogen throughout the world. Human offensives against the zombies begin, restoring hope. Russia has been particularly effective in halting the pandemic through military and civilian force. Jerry makes a remark, "This is not the final chapter. It's not even close."